I have something very special to tell you that I know you're going to get a kick of. And as I said, it's more of an example of how you've affected the world. A larger community than you probably could ever have imagined. This fellow who runs Pixar, which is the animation group, and they do a lot of work for Disney. I was at this thing at the Academy. It's called the Governor's Awards. They give out prizes to people who should have gotten them but didn't, you know. And I was seated at a table with one of the governors of the Academy of Motion Pictures and the Sciences. And we were talking about stuff, and overcame this particular kind of an evening. There's a lot of table hopping that goes along. People go see a load of friends they haven't seen for a long time, like me and you, and it's always fun. But this fellow came up to me, introduced himself, and he said, I have to tell you, when I'm doing my yoga, every day, I listen to the soundtrack for The Hired Hand.
Oh, God.
And he said, that Bruce Langhorne, how did you find him? And I got to tell him the story.
Oh, God.
Of meeting you at Huey's and all that, and then working with you to do this, and then deciding we were going to do an album. And I came back and told you the story of Easy Rider, and you said, you ought to go do that movie. And then how...
You did it.
And I did, and that allowed me to be able to do The Hired Hand. And which allowed me to say, Bruce, would you do the music for me? And of course, as you remember, Universal said, Fonda, you can't just be hiring your friends, you know. And I said, no, you don't quite understand. This man is ultra special in the world of music. He is the tambourine man. He's also a virtuoso on 42 stringed instruments. And if I wanted a full string symphony orchestra to accompany a scene in The Hired Hand, he would have gone out and found 4 different first violins, 4 different second violins, 3 different cellos, because each instrument has its own value and its own sound. And I would have had an entire string symphony had I wanted it. And he said, well, it's so remarkable. I don't listen to any other soundtrack for any movie. But I said, well, I'll be seeing Bruce. I'll be seeing him, and I'm going to be so happy to bring him this news so he knows that beyond his thought brain, mine too, you know, that there's the fellow who runs Pixar listening to your beautiful accompaniment, as you called it, to The Hired Hand. And I recognized, I know behind these walls is the magic garden. The beautiful, wonderful, sitting out there with you and Hugh Masekela and Stewie, just remembering, just looking back. It was so comfortable back there. It was so at ease. It made everything at ease.
And it still is.
And it still is.
And it's like getting better all the time.
That's what counts. That's very good.
And we're, you know, I personally, I'm like, you know, always saying, well, you know, if this isn't the best place ever, the best time ever, you know, what could be better?
Exactly.
Wow.
Where can you go? Nowhere. Right here.
Exactly.
And when I found this place with you here the first time, I was so happy to see that you were in such a magical place. Because you're such a magical person. You deserve to be. And I actually thought that, you know, I'm going to be leaving the ranch. I thought maybe I can rent that treehouse out back.
Oh,
And I think I asked you, do you allow motorcycles to park back there?
Well, I'd
Maybe
love
a
to have
couple of
it
cars.
back there.
Because that treehouse looks mightily good to me.
and it was good.
Yes, it is good.
It is. That's
In
really
the
is.
present. It's all in the present. It's all good.
That's really true, Patrick.
Yeah. Absolutely. But isn't that cool that this guy from Pixar every day does yoga to your music?
Oh, God.
I mean, it's not Bob Dylan with you playing in the background. It's nothing. It's you, all by yourself, playing all those fabulous instruments and making that beautiful score.
Well, that was certainly a high point in my life.
Mine too, mister. Mine too. Of course, one of the high points first was meeting you through Huey and Stu, and then hanging with you and going over songs and talking about this proposed album, which I believe we were going to call Gotta Get You Into My Life, based on that Beatles song. And because of the hired hand, I was able to use your services better than learning how to sing a song properly and play a guitar and try to be able to do what you did for people who are proper singers like Joan Baez and the group and Judy Collins, showing you how to perform on stage, how to be this, how to hold all this, the how-tos. But the best is not so much the music that you put to the hired hand, and of course to Idaho Transfer, and of course to Fighting Mad, and another Jonathan Demme film, that I got to play around with you. Not sit and be instructed about, no, don't do this with your voice, just speak it out, just do this. I remember every bit of it, Bruce, I do. I'll never forget it either. This is the good news. I get to take this with me until I take the big hike. All my wonderful things that happened because of my friendship with you. Being able to hang out, make that little tool shed in the back of the house up on Lookout, making it into a music studio.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so crazy, but it's so perfect. It beats a garage band, hands down, because in that, garage bands don't make scores to a motion picture, and you made one of the finest scores to any motion picture in that little shed in the back, all tar papered up so it wouldn't rain in all our instruments and everything. And I got to hang out with you up there and watch how you pogoed it back and forth so you could build tracks on this little tiny medium, because we didn't have half-inch, we didn't have a 1-inch tape, we didn't have those things. We only had 4 tracks that we could work with. So there was a lot of pogoing, learning about that and watching you do it. And then seeing the music you'd bring down to Frank, and he'd put it in assemblage, and we'd watch it on this little screen, this big, because you know the screens, would film it in black and white off the screen. And we'd watch that with your music and all the noise of the moviolas, and they make a lot of damn noise. And right next to them is the sound machine that's going to the same trip. I was thinking, this is unbelievable. This music is more than a score. This is an indigenous thing in the film. This is as much as the sound of the wind or the sound of water and rivers. This is this beautiful thing that you allow me to be part of.
Oh, well, you allowed me to be part of it.
No, I didn't allow you. I asked you, and you were gracious enough. See, of course, Petrus. And then there was the next film, and I just assumed, well, Bruce is going to do the next one too. So here we go, you know. And out came a fabulous score, very interesting, on another different film. So what a trip in my life. What a treat in my life to come up there and hang out with you in that studio. And sometimes I think we'd get just a little bit blasted.
Not me, Ossifer.
No, Ossifer. It wasn't me. It just looked like me.
Just acted like me.
It acted and looked like me, but it wasn't me. In this case, it wasn't. You're just mistaken, officer. Keep on moving. Nothing to see here. There should be a tour of that place. That's a piece of magic. Right? It's, in my life, better than an e-ticket ride at Disneyland. It took me to the heights and the twists and turns and fabulousness of the magic of your music. And there I am now in my beach. I'm dancing with one hand waving 3. I'm remembering hearing that album and then meeting you and listening to that song again. and hearing your sweet, very subtle electric guitar accompaniment to Bob singing Mr. Tambourine Man. And Bob's voice, you know, it could be strident, as you recall. And you took this love song that Bobby didn't really get vocally as lovely, and by just doing these little lifts, little bits on the electric guitar, you took the hard edges and smoothed them and made them round, and it became the love song it was. And so we all love Mr. Tambourine Man. I know him personally. I know I tell you that every time I see you. It's because it means so much in my heart. It really means so much in my heart. I used to play my guitar every evening, maybe for 2 hours, until I forgot the lyrics, and then I know it was time for me to go to bed. Whatever the music was, whatever the song I was singing, I just pick out that 12 string or the 6 string, and you know, once I got the calluses back up, it was much easier. So I went right down and got on the thing and played and played and played and played. And I came back upstairs. My fingers weren't bleeding, but almost. But it was a moment I thought, why? I shouldn't do that. I mean, I have joy. I don't care if anybody else is listening. I have joy playing it.
Which is really what counts.
And this is what you taught me. That it's not for whom you are playing it. It's the joy in yourself of playing it.
Absolutely.
It sounds selfish, but it's really not. Because once you get that joy, you're spreading it. You're putting that joy out. That energy goes out to everybody who's there, everybody who listens. So even if it's somebody way in the back room of the house someplace that hears it, they know I'm in a joyful heart.
Right. Which is really what counts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been like that. And it will always be like that.
And it will. Absolutely. It will always be like that. Joy is such a thing. And to be able to spread it with people, to be able to make other people experience that joy, not make them, but give them the opportunity to
Share.
share. Yeah, well, you see, you blew my mind when you did your little piece of in the special edition from Sundance Channel, the DVD with added commentary. When asked about it, and you were not the most comfortable person on camera, sitting there, he said, well, actually, all I did was accompany the film. No.
It's true.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the things that I remember, the only thing, I think I told you one thing. I said, Bruce, some of my favorite music in classical terms is Aaron Copland's Rodeo, Billy the Kid, and Appalachian Spring. I said, there's something, especially in Appalachian Spring, that he does, which has a very Scottish bagpipey feel to it. And I said, it's very indigenous to me. And I just want you to make music that's indigenous to this moment.
Absolutely.
And that's after it was up to you. I didn't say, I need an upbeat moment here. I didn't have to. Because it was you. I didn't realize how lucky I was until I started hearing the songs. But that was so, it was just so fine that I was able to bring a whole bunch of people on a trip they had no idea they were going to take. And the first time I met Dan Gerber, who's this wonderful fellow, Gerber Baby Food, you know, a lot of old money there, but Gerber came down in 1974 to Key West, Florida, where I was making a movie. And he had with him the soundtrack. How he got it, I don't know. Maybe, you know, you have enough money, you can find things. Maybe he found a 16 millimeter print that had the sound with it and was able to lift the sound from that print. But there were about 40 people from the motion picture company that went into Becky's house and sat there while there was a slideshow given first, and then Danny Gerber played the soundtrack from The Hired Hand. That, I was, the hair standing on my arm now, I just was thinking, how is this possible? How did he get it? And how come all these people are just mouth-dropping listening to this music? How did he do that? But I was thrilled. They didn't bring the film, they brought your music. Mwah. Your beautiful music. Oh my God. And that's, I got to hear you do all kinds of music. Sitting back there, well, let's have another shot of that. That's a good idea. Wow. You want to tell me? Yeah. There's no windows. There's just tar paper all over the place.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And then Friday Tracer, there she was making all the clothes, stitching everything up, making the sweaters, doing all that stuff. So we've had a wonderful life. I've been able to have you with me all the time, in my heart, in my ear, in my mind, and it's been a thrill. And you know what? It will be a thrill all the way up until it's my turn to take the big hike. Yeah. And I will not go on that hike worrisome and afraid. I'll go on that hike full of happiness, love, and the idea
Which is really right now.
If there's something on the other side, might as well go in happy because you get a better chance at it.
Absolutely.
But people go in fear, and I say, no, not this fella. Not this fella. I've approached that big hike too many times in my life. When I was 6 and thrown out of a barn window up into Topanga Canyon, when I shot myself, all kinds of wacky stuff. That I'm sitting here talking to you is absolutely a miracle. And
Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing. But you're amazing, Bruce.
Well, we are wonderful.
Well,
together
the we
as
is a
people.
big we, isn't it?
It is.
The we is a big we, you bet. Wow.
And that's just the way it is.
Well, for me, it's just so cool. Just knowing that no matter what happens with you, your soul will be with me. Because I'll carry my heart. I'll carry your heart in my heart.
And we are together. And we are one.
And we are one. And that's I'll carry your heart in my heart is a line from an E. Cummings poem. And I wish I could recite the whole poem, but that just occurred to me now that I've always been able to do that. I've always been able to carry your heart in my heart. And when people have asked me about, well, how did this happen? How did that happen? And I get around to telling about meeting you and then having you scored films for me. It's because I can do it with such detail. I'm a man who remembers the detail that it's like I have you in my heart so much that when I'm speaking actively at the moment. It's not talking about the past. It's talking in the present in the present tense when I speak about it.
It's true, Petrus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are always going to be together.
Absolutely right. That is the good news. This is why friendships matter so much. But I mean close friendships. Not just casual, but close. That thing that goes back and forth between people who are very close, that can't be measured, that can't be weighed, you can't even see it. And only a few can get and happen to feel that share of that thing that goes between you and a dear friend. Those are moments that are worth things. Those are moments to remember, and those are moments that inspire me to get back and play my guitar, get back and sing those songs. And you know what now? My voice has changed, obviously. because I'm a shit pile older. But I'm not old. I'm just older.
Exactly.
You know, people that are old, that's too late. But people that are older, like you and me, that just means we're continuing what we started at birth. We've been getting older since we were born. And so I'm very comfortable with my getting older. But I'm also able to now sit down and play my guitar and sing songs. And after I've done a song, I think, God, I wish I could play this for Bruce so he could see, oh, he finally learned how to do that right. I finally learned the lessons you were telling me. Those sessions at nighttime in the studio at your little house, and we were just working things out, doing Rolling Stone songs, doing Bob Dylan songs, doing any songs. And I feel good when I think, I wish I could play this for Bruce right now. I wish Bruce were here so he could hear that I've got this. The man who plays upside down and backwards is not sure which string. Is that an E string? I don't know. It's the third from the bottom. You know. You know, what can I say? I don't know. I just play. And I can do it well
Which is
now.
really right on, Petrus.
Well, thanks to you and my adoration of singers and musicians and composers, because it has brought me so much meaning in my life. And tapping that one moment of Aaron Copland, although I saw that film so many times, it wasn't until years later, listening once again I listened to the movie. Listening to the movie, I heard the violins in the opening piece doing that bagpipe thing, doing that Scottish one note and one variant off that, you know, one note carries that. And I thought, my God, I didn't realize he did it. He gave it to me. I've got the bagpipes, but they're just fiddles, because it would not have worked well to have bagpipes there in the West in 1881.
It would have been too loud.
Too loud. Thank you. At any rate, it's my moment of the Scottish influence on American music. Bruce Langhorne absolutely nailed it. Mm-hmm. What an accompaniment to that film. What an accompaniment to my life, Bruce. And to many other people. Because oh, you know Bruce Langhorne, don't you? You bet I do. Yeah, bet I do, Pilgrim. I know Mr. Langhorne, little missy. You don't fool around with that Duke. I like it when you roll your head back and look up like that, because I can see that your eyes have joy in them. And that's important.
Well, we have always had joy.
Yes. Even when I came to you with a problem, you would just take me in your arms and the problem would disappear.
Well, thank you, Petrus.
No, Bruce, thank you. Thank you for everything. And everything that will continue in my life. There's the good stuff. It won't go away. It will never go
It will
away.
never go away.
Never
It's
ever
true.
go away. I'm still at large, Bruce.
Well,
They haven't put me in the slammer yet.
that's just because they haven't caught yet.
That's right. That's why I still like. And you too. This magical garden protects you. You're in the garden. You know that wonderful Joni Mitchell tune, "We are stardust, we are golden," and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Well, here you are, Bruce. You're in the bloody garden.
Well, I'm certainly happy about it.
That's good. Because I am so happy and blessed in my life to have you as a friend, as an indicted co-conspirator, because both of our names are out there, an indicted co-conspirator, a fellow head, a wonderful musician, a dear heart, and always been a friend for a long time, and always will be. No matter where you are, mister, you're going to be in my heart because I carry your heart in my heart.
And it ain't over yet.
No, it ain't over yet at all. No, they don't sing that song. There's no baby blue in this room. So, I'm thinking about you all the time. I never not think about you.
And me to you, Petrus.
And when I think of you, I think with happiness in my heart. There is no anger. We never had that between us. We never had, I don't think we ever had a falling out. Ever.
Not that I can remember.
Nope. I got a good memory, so not that I can remember. We've just been on this great tour. I wished I'd been on the tour a lot earlier. I would have probably learned how to play and sing a lot better. But, I'm doing it now. I'm on tour with you now.
Absolutely.
And that counts.